3, 2, 1, let's go. All right, and it looks like everything is running. Today, we'll be continuing the ugly mecha. I'm actually gonna maybe accomplish something here today instead of just rambling and laying out the armature. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna take this lovely model and use that as a base to make a big hunched back ugly mecha. And by ugly I mean like grungy, falling apart. Last time I just kind of started laying things out, making a rough armature here. We can see using my current head here, because I would love to hook this up as another VTuber model in my toolbox here. So we've got the current head, the neck going into the shoulders. This was originally going to be part of the spine, the collarbone up here, going to the shoulder, and then eventually, upper arm, lower arm, hand. And I decided to actually look at some reference material after the last stream, and gonna change things up just a little bit. Like I see, let's see what we got here. A good example would be the Iron-Blooded Orphans frames, the bases they use for their Gundam models. Disclaimer, have not seen all of IBO, but it is definitely on my to-watch list. So, most Gundams, and mecha in general, except for very rare occasions, they show them all covered up with armor and kind of logical costumes. But here, they have the skeleton exposed. Now, is it realistic? Maybe not. Why does the frame have cake? I mean, why does it have a face on its crotch? Welcome in, Ducky. Yeah, it definitely does have cake. It's butt flaps to guard the pinch point. That is one thing I have to fix on my model here. I don't have all 5 fingers, so I can't really do the air quotes. I'll have to fix that next time around. One of the things I did do is I did set up some shortcuts. I now have Farmer Rusty for when I eventually play the Stardew update that just came out. So we got Farmer Rusty, Business Rusty, Cat Rusty, and the very handy, I can switch my cameras now. Yeah. I'm playing out with testing Touch Portal, because I don't know if I'm ready to jump into a whole Stream Deck yet. So before I blow, $150, or if I want the big model with all the buttons, way more than $150, we're going to start off with this first. Okay. I just had to double check. It's like, wait a second, do I actually have my mic muted? No. But yes. Pretending to play Stardew. Oh, come on now. I have an obscene amount of hours in Stardew. Though I think fitting with the theme here, I might just leave the business suit on and do an evil run, as evil as it gets in Stardew anyways. Do the corporate takeover route, because it's actually fun. Then I'm anxious to see all the new things that, I bought the game like 7 years ago, 6 years ago, and they're still releasing updates for it. I mean, that is just cool. I'm not saying every game should do that, but it's refreshing. It's kind of like it's a perpetual license. No loot box. So, I'm working on this guy again, Ducky. I'm not going to give myself this cake or this. I mean, is that not an owl with 2 eyes and a beak? But, very importantly, for today anyways, you have the shoulder joints set up. And being that I figured Gundam would be a good resource because their mecha designs are usually very broad terms. There's been some goofy ones, but they're usually based in some kind of reality. And that's why I looked up the frames here, because you have, looks to me to be the shoulder rotation, and then here's the up down. Front back is a little bit trickier, but here's the clavicle even. That's impressive that they actually have the clavicle, which is right in here. So they have the clavicle. Front back must be this here, or these vaguely hydraulic cylinders right here. I mean, they have routing. They have routing for the... zoom in. Zoom in. The blurry picture. They have routing for all the... I don't know if that's cable management or if they run on hydraulics. But that's impressive. Oh, it must be hydraulics, because there's a theoretical hydraulics, because here's a hydraulic cylinder right here to help with the shoulder. Though that's probably not all that does, because there's no way that cylinder holds the hydraulics. I actually do have a background in some CAD-ish work, doing 3D modeling for construction equipment, so that cylinder ain't gonna hold jack, but it could be some support module or inertial damper or something. Yeah, some of the Gundams are built on hopes and dreams. Let's see, what's a really good... G Gundam has some that are pretty far out there. I mean, I'm happy as long as they have some kind of weight to them, and they're not just pulling, they're not just materializing stuff out of nowhere. I mean, even the newest one, when they did quote-unquote pull stuff out of nowhere, it was being formed from these mini drones, right? So it was coming from somewhere. It wasn't just digitizing or, magic wand sparkly, poof, there it goes. So I definitely appreciate some of this. I mean, you go back to the original and, it was a landmark in mecha design, and going from people in a cardboard costume to supposedly, big stompy machines of death, right? And even that had weight to it. They step on a hillside and rocks fall and they slide a bit and fall on their butt, So you got to really appreciate the weight that they had to them. So where I was going with all of that is getting reference material for these frames using what's called a frame. Let's see, what else did we gather here? Another one. Oh, speaking of Gundam, while this one is amazingly ridiculous, it's curious to see how they reconciled having these giant shoulder pauldrons. This one's built for mostly space combat. These giant shoulder guards, weird antenna array, I assume, on the head. But they just kind of hide it. They just kind of hide the shoulder joint here. So it's like, yes, you got the shoulder, and then it comes out of there. So that's not super useful for me, except to see how you can hide things. Speaking of hiding things, we're going to put this guy over in the corner here. For now. There we go. He can watch us. Let's see, what are some other designs? I pull it up. Mass Effect 2. See, they just kind of, they just kind of have the joints hiding there too, and that's okay. Just kind of led me to believe, or I don't need to be quite so concerned with the properness of it, but more like the basic shape. Because if I'm moving around, I'm going to be this big on the screen, right? Yay big? Unless, of course, I zoom way in, I suppose. Hi. So then you might be able to see a little bit more detail. One thing I'm curious also about is when I do export it into this software, which can be used for VR chat and such too, not just VTubing, is you notice how everything's kind of like the mesh, especially with this lovely low poly model. You can basically see the polygons moving around. And that's not all smoothed out intentionally. It's not all smoothed out, but everything's squashing and deforming. So I'm going to run some experiments to see how much I can get away with on the rigging on making hard surface, or oh gosh, it's been forever since I've used the term. There's rigid bodies. There we go. Making rigid animation, or hard surface would be another good term. So if I make a stompy robot boy here, the metal's not gonna deform and squish. Now, on the head, I've already accomplished that, but that's because it's a very simple joint, like my eye here. If we look very closely at the eye, how much can I zoom in on the eye? Hello. We are now looking at my eye. So on IRL Rusty, we have can I bring IRL Rusty? On IRL Rusty, this eye is an actual camera lens. And let's hide myself for a second here. We're an actual camera lens on a gyroscope mount. Now, I haven't quite mimicked it here. I believe I can pull it off, but I've more simulated what it would look like. And nothing's squashing, nothing's deforming. I do have the aperture opening and closing, which I love that I was able to pull off. It's whenever I blink, or if I get angry, I can make it bigger. There. Now, see, that just looks great. So I'm thinking I can pull off, non-squishy modeling or rigging. That's in this VR models, VR chat style models here. Okay, make myself small again. Hello. Fix positioning. I have like 20 different softwares open at once. There we go. All right, we are back. Pulled out the hoodie. Yep. No, I've got a... I don't have a nice suit like this that I could spare for my good friend sitting over there. Also, Rusty is still being worked on. I'm in the middle of doing a kind of a code update. Not just code, but how I transfer the tracking over to the actual puppet. Excuse me. So, IRL Rusty. Let's see, do I have offline? There we go. So good old offline Rusty over here, hiding in the corner. He'll be watching us. I do not have the live feed hooked up because I am changing on how the neck rotation is working, and also the code that runs him, with the tracking, and yeah, smoothing things out, making it so we have less servos going past their restraints. Because they're not super expensive, but they do add up after a while. He should be back in a week or two. Which is why one of the things I wanted to work on is, on stream anyways. I'm not going to work on Rusty Live right now. That's just asking for trouble if I have to, throw off the headphones and run over there and hit the stop buttons. Because he's a few feet away from me over here. Currently watching me. Judgmentally. Yep. Just staring at me. No lights on. Watching. Waiting. I plan to at least get him a Hawaiian shirt. I think that would really pull the robot together. A nice Hawaiian shirt. Maybe we'll get him. Maybe we'll get him a suit someday. I'm actually thinking about making the tie part of the lore. So maybe a suit and tie is necessary. All right, let's bring in this other fella here. This guy. I, like many others, were salivating when this trailer came out. Am I a huge Armored Core fan? I would be if I had time to play it. I was thinking back on this, and I think I had Armored Core 2 on the PS2. Pretty sure I had that. Why am I not zooming? Why can't we zoom? My window's bugged. Okay. But I'm pretty sure I played Armored Core 2 back in the day. And I enjoyed it. But that was also, 2002 or so? So I'm getting back into the robots and the mecha and all that goodness again after a while. But this trailer, chef's kiss. So, you got this scene and this scene here. So this is kind of what I was looking for the hunched over. Oh, sadly, I don't have, but full body tracking here to make the gestures But yes, this hunched over type look. Yeah, let's hide the frame for now. Bring this guy back in. You know, he's just shoulders way too big, right? Little bitty head, way too big of shoulders. And you see his arm. Oops, get back over here. So his shoulder's actually up here in this shot. And his arm comes down here. Yes. And this, he's got this big pile driver, bunker buster. Don't come after me. I don't know the words. I'll play it someday. Yeah, so he's got this giant appendage right here. And in the next shot... Oh, no, this shot's drawing it back. But yeah, I want to replicate this because this is just a cool looking weapon. And I don't know... I assume I'd be able to set it up for my VTuber with animations in Unity? But I know I can model it, that's for sure. I know I can do it in Maya. With just setting keys. You know, say start here, have these three things move, you know, as this variable goes to here for the animation, you know, have the three pieces around it, you know, tilt up. Setting different animation keys. See, that we can do, but I want to have it so I can do it live. Well, as if it was in a game. Because that's essentially what a VTuber is. It's a game. I mean, I'm using VC Face, which was made in Unity. Game engine, right? So this is all part of my overreaching Rusty project. In my factory, I must build all the Rusty robots. And an armored core. Definitely on there. Will I be a big, mean looking, fierce guy? Ah, come on, I'm like a puppy dog. Most of the time, right? But this look. Wonderful. So these shots, not super helpful for seeing the shoulders. Here we go. This is why I saved it. Much better shot of the shoulder here. Big, beefy weapon mount shoulder. And this, I assume, is some kind of like hardpoint mount for the elbow. And theoretically, this is where you just attach and detach components, right? But again, this shows I don't really need to model it, you know, mechanically correct, mechanically accurate. So I can have this as cool, rule of cool as I want. So that's where we're going with it. And definitely having the bunker driver pile buster dealio. Oh, some of my other source image. Ugh. These would be nice to have on Rusty Actual. I don't think my 3D printing and organizational skills are there yet. Yeah. Close that down for now. Did I have other references? Someday I will, I want to move into a high def, high poly count model. This guy here, because again, I've been out of the game for a while, so I'm just getting back into it. I'm gonna go low poly to fit the rest of it, but you can always go high poly from low poly. So yeah, I do want a fully grungy, you know, using the whole GPU to render version of Rusty in an environment, and that will be fantastic. Alright, did I have any other source material gathered? Not especially. Okay. I think we need to there it is. I have both of these locked. We have the base. We've got the armature. Now I can play with the armature. All right. Armature group. And what I'm building up from there. So I'm still going to roughly follow the armature. But some caveats. Rule of cool. And I don't need to show every little piece moving. And I can always add them in later. Like I spent in between last stream where I was working on this and this stream, I was trying to figure out how to key animations off of other things without using the actual animation system in Unity, and that didn't go too well because wow, there's a lot to dig into with Unity on math and motion vectors and physics, and I'm not quite there yet because I wanted things to like counter rotate, like move the elbow, and so some gears would turn one way and then there'd be counter gears turning and all that. I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out somehow. That'll be down the road. I keep trying to dive in way too deep too quickly to some of these things because I think they'd be amazing, but I do have to remind myself, patience. Okay. Speaking of patience, what do I do with this? This was going to be the spine, shooting the clavicle here to the shoulder. The shoulder's the big box. But I think I might do that cheating that I was talking about earlier. So we are going to put it probably like out here. Oh, it's music playing again. And then we're going to make this guy a bit larger. And I'm not worried about getting like perfect quads. I have beautiful quads right here. Because I can always unwrap it later and clean it up, retopologize, all that dreadfully unfun stuff. So for now, I'm just gonna kind of do it the quick and dirty way, kinda. So again, I'm still gonna be working rough. I'm working roughly, and then refining it as I go. I don't care for it to be perfect at the moment. Okay, let's see. Cylinder 2, where are you? Change you to... Oh, you're already at 8 subdivisions. Okay. I am quite surprised, probably because I haven't posted a whole lot. I haven't had people saying, why aren't you using Blender? Blender is definitely on my to watch or to learn goals. Definitely. But I was at one point very comfortable with Maya. It's been a hot minute. I gotta say I'm much more comfortable using Maya than I had been learning something completely new. Let's get that shoulder in place. And that's got to be the weakest looking joint ever, huh? Right there. Okay, now where's that? Okay. So I love this shoulder guard here. Honestly, I should just be replicating this guy over here. Giant shoulder. I'm going to have some bracing coming off the back, I think, to match up with the spine, mostly for looks. Make a copy, number of copies, making sure my defaults aren't funky, because something odd happened last time I tried duplicating. It didn't quite work out how I wanted it to. What the heck happened there? Like, why is it not showing up? Why is it not showing up in this view? Ah, because it perfectly lined up, obviously, because it's duplicated in the same spot. That's a brain fart right there. Okay, so for now, I think we're just going to put in a placeholder. Have it going kind of to the spine. There we go. There we go. It'll hook right up with that joint. Let's make this guy a little bit thinner. I'm really tempted to add bevels everywhere and make it, you know, kind of start to lock in the modeling, but at the same time, you have to work your way up to that point. So that's the start of the shoulder. Too much. Okay, so that's the equivalent of this plate. I might as well make this giant, okay, so that's a forward rotation. So now I should make the up-down rotation. One downside to how I'm doing this is I didn't have the armature laid out in T-pose. It should be. That's a little trickier then, I think. We are going to make another cylinder. Ah, that's the problem with duplicating. Okay. You cannot affect everything about it. Radius, let's make it like 8, height 2, subdivisions. Let's keep it kind of chunky, I think. Subdivisions on the cap, let's go 0 for now. And should be nice. Working in 3 dimensions is tricky sometimes. Should be doing is turning on snapping so I actually get these things to line up. It's one of the downsides of working on a mechanical model. If you're going for any kind of accuracy, why am I not snapping? Snapping to view plane, I want that. Grid, there we go. Now it's beautiful. One of the downsides of working on an inorganic model is anything that doesn't line up nicely is kind of glaring. Whereas organic models, you can kind of fudge stuff. Now, downside of the organic models is if you're making anything based in reality, like a person, then anything that doesn't look quite right, you get uncanny valley. Okay. Okay, so that is part of, let's see, that's that rotation. This is this rotation. So that's, the whole thing is going to move that way. Oh. Well, that's silly. That should be flipped. That should be flipped. Okay, we are going to do something else. Oops, that, nope. Getting ahead of ourselves here. There, extrude this side, not the whole darn thing. Oh boy, what did I do? What did I do there? Holy crap. Alright, let's see what I did. Okay, set, undo. Okay, I didn't hit undo enough times. Change select mode. No, still weird. Huh. There's something off about that cube. There's something for us to fix later. That's what that is. Okay, so this there. That will be a problem for future Rusty. I think this cube seems inside out. That's why the shading's a little wonky. No? Okay, now I want to, let's see. So this is still going to rotate. This I want to be curved more. But again, I think I'm just going to fake it. Oh, that is weird. The pivot. Oh, I wonder if I did something when I set up the pivots. That is just weird. Okay, so shoulder, turny, turny, bendy, bendy. This is going to be the bendy, bendy. Bendy, bendy, the big shoulder. Rotate, rotate. Let's look at that again. Oops. This block is currently this piece right here, and this goes. I don't particularly care for. But I think I have a good idea now. Okay. And we're going to hide this inside of here. Not happy with that shape, but I'll come back to it. Oh, that is not where we're going. Oh, that's why it's bouncing all over the place. Now I get snapping on. So, can my tracking have me holding my head in my hands? So because when I was extruding that last shape, I have snapping turned on, so it snaps to the grid. Do you see a grid in that top right? So it's snapping back to the origin because that's the only grid that's in the in that view. At least I figured it out. Ay, ay, ay. Alright. Okay, height, more than 2. Let's make it 4. Okay, theoretically that's right in the middle. Okay. Give it a little more axes. Oops. Oh, that's off kilter a little bit. Yeah, might as well play with these and refine them a little bit while I'm in here. One, two, three. 1, 2, 3. All right. And I've started using different textures. It's getting a little confusing when it's all gray. What we got for other? Oh man, I don't have any of the other renders installed. Just all in plain flat gray. Okay, let's see. Next up, the arm shape here. Oh, so basically now I have freedom to go to the elbow. So I can consider this big blocky piece to be armor that will fit over the hinge joint here. So I think I'm still going to go with this this frame idea of get the basic mechanical frame down, make it look kind of cool, and then just stack armor or what have you on top of it. Put him in a hoodie, you know. Having him in a giant cloak would be pretty awesome though. Okay, let's see. So this is going to rotate. So theoretically, in this current view, based on the armature, let's save. In fact, I'm going to make an incremental save because Maya is sometimes notorious for crashing and taking things with it. Okay, so this cylinder is, we'll call it a back support. Shoulder support spine. Shoulder spine support. So we should put all of these things. That will turn with the shoulder. So these two are in a group. And then the shoulder one is not going to be in the same group as these guys. For now, I think I'll leave them not, I won't organize them hierarchically. Okay, so, but I can do cool things like this for getting, kind of the visualization of it. Really? Where's my... put the pivot at the base. Center pivot. There we go. See, here's where you can start to breathe life into things. When you start to get to these stages. And it's the pivot's a little off, but that's okay. Let's fix that right now. Oops. Fix the pivot. There. Beautiful. Okay, so congrats. I now have a sort of working shoulder piece. This is the, obviously, it's the forward and back motion. I don't remember the the words. It's been a long time since I made a proper rig from scratch. I was thinking about this earlier today while working the day job. When did I last create a proper rig from scratch? It had to have been... It was after school, but still probably a very long time ago. Okay, let's see. Now they have things that'll auto rig as long as you're close, and it'll add in all the proper limitations. You know, like let's say this is going to be based on a humanoid rig, much like this guy here. It'll auto rig most of it, like, you know, your elbow is only supposed to be a hinge joint. You know, come on, tracking. A hinge joint, so you can go like this instead of being able to, you know, twist it really funny. It does that automatically. Now, because this is a mecha, I might have to fine-tune it, but man, that's nice. Okay. So, we have a shoulder, and now we can celebrate the little victories. Like saying, shoulder group. Who's next? What's that? And based on the inside, so it's not great. What we should do here is we should take this cylinder and make it quite a bit wider. Oh, that would look sweet. Okay. Taper that a bit. I think next time around I will further taper as I add more detail in here, add more tapers and round things off. Yeah, I don't know how low poly this guy is actually going to be in the end. I was on another modeler's stream. They were working on a VTuber model. And they, they're saying how many, I think they said vertices instead of polygons. But they were working on a nice, smoothly shaded model. So they're about 10 times the amount I've got going on here. So what you see, and don't see because I'm tall, I actually have shoes on. So what you see here in my business suit and my helmet, my hat, this is about 1,000 polygons. So that's like very low. I mean, low poly look, intentionally low poly. Yeah, they are about 12,000, I want to say. But then you start stacking on things like my other outfit here. You know? Because this is an entirely different mesh. I didn't quite double, but I definitely added on a lot of polygons into my file. Now what you see, what the computer's still rendering, is only that same roughly 1,000 polygons. But then you gotta add in, all the things that add up the file, like all the different blend shapes to do different shapes, to do different fun things. Yeah, so as I add more bodies, I'm gonna be adding more poly count. This mecha, though, I'm going to have him be a completely separate file because the skeleton will not mesh up at all. It will not be anywhere close to Business Rusty's skeleton, as you can see. As you can see here. Here's Business Rusty's skeleton. That's what you're looking at right now. And this one, the neck is going to go way off this way. The shoulder we were working on is way up here. So to switch between them, I'll just load up a different file. It's the beauty of it. Swapping bodies. So yeah, I accomplished a whole shoulder today. Or most of a whole shoulder today. Let's see if we can attempt to get at least a little bit more done. Okay, here I have the arm on the reference going forward. The modeling, I'm not going to do it that way. That'll complicate things. However, this will still be the up-down. Base it off of here. I want a cube. I don't think I want a cube, actually. What do these guys use? Oh, they use a whole complex series of shapes here. You know, a cube might not be the worst. I was going to continue the 8 or the octagon shape going down because it's easy to subdivide and deform, but I'm not going to be deforming because it's a solid model. Okay. So let's start with a fresh cube because last time, yeah. How's the music, by the way? Is it too loud, too soft, just right? Oops. Let's make this a little bit more narrow. And it disappeared. Or looking at the polygon or the frame, wireframe sometimes because everything is stacked on everything. Yeah, I really should just start maybe as I finish components, like component groups, assign them a different shader. You know, that is not a terrible idea at all. Let's see. Rendering, hypershade. Make a new. Might as well stick with Lambert's. Select shoulder group. How am I now? Oh, what the heck? That was the wrong one. My mouse decided to be a little sluggish. Shoulder. Side material. There we go. Oh, sorry, you guys don't get to see that. Just using the hypershade or assigning the materials to the items. Sticking with in this phase of it anyways, sticking with the basic, kind of a very soft surface, no reflections or anything like that yet. Just want to differentiate it a little bit when I'm sitting here looking at gray on gray on gray on gray. There, much easier to see now. So on the frame that I'm using as a reference, they have it, so it's coming down very similar. Let's see, they have it, it's hard to think of sometimes when it's not aligned the same way at all. Okay, so I'm holding it out like this. Holding it out like this. Oh, interesting. Okay, so they have theirs set 90 degrees to high of mine currently. And that's a nice way of doing it. I have mine. Okay, so how they have theirs is like this. As the biceps would be this front side, if you were to consider it. Come on. So this would basically be like where your bicep is. Nope, my bad. This one. This one would be where the bicep is. Yeah, that's a nice way of doing that, actually. Though unfortunately I can't have mine set that way with how I have it modeled. Again, I'm getting a little too concerned with the details before I even get there. Okay. Let me turn that back off. Okay, now just eyeballing this. Put the arm about out there. I do think I want to shrink it up a bit too. Oh, geez. Let's turn snapping back off. So roughly there. Roughly there. Have it kind of fan out a bit. See, now on the armored core image. Nope, that's not armored core image. Did I really close that window? I did close that window. There we go. So this is the part I'm working on right now. Now the Gundam frame has it a very flat piece, and the armored core has it round. Round would be nice because then you can swivel easier, but looking at this, now it works. Looking at this detail right here, I love this for the shoulder, or for the elbow joint. So technically this whole thing is this mecha's forearm. This whole part right here is the forearm. It's just kind of locked into it. It looks like some kind of hardpoint locking mechanism. It wouldn't be a hardpoint then, actually. So it looks like he just basically takes a forearm, locks it in to the weapon which envelops. My tracking cannot show what I'm trying to do here. So the forearm just locks in, and then you have the weapon encasing the entire forearm. But the way that this is set up here, to go back and forth, see on the human you have to do this. You have to pivot from your shoulder. On a robot, you can have it do whatever the F you want. So, if I'm reading this correctly, the upper arm right here can swivel. Humans can't do that. We're not built that way. The forearm is kind of an exception, though. Let's see. Going like this. Tracking's not being super nuanced about it. Oop, and I'm blocking my camera. There, tracking's not being super nuanced, but we have two bones in our forearm, and they kind of move to perform a similar twisting action, because we don't have a joint in here that just allows it to rotate like that. But robots can. So, started here, but I'm going to end up here. I'm going to shorten this up a bit. Make it more of a trapezoid. And now we're going to steal some other pieces so we don't have to remake them. Shoulder group? Nope, not shoulder group. This guy. Because I've already extruded this to have it look vaguely like a bearing or coupler. Kind of like a bearing in the flange. So that's already nicely on there. Just sink it below the surface here. I should be snapping it to the surface, but I don't. I gotta look up to see how to do that. My excuse is that, oh, we're just roughing it in, right? Okay, so now, where are we? I should really pin this in my OBS so that I don't have to keep blocking the view of everywhere. Little zoomed in. There we go. Here it is on this side. Okay, this giant shape right here. Okay, this giant shape right here is part of the three pieces that are encasing the bunker buster piece right here. So this whole thing is the forearm. This is the link, the upper arm linking to the forearm. Yeah, I think I got that right. Okay, let's see. So, kind of ignoring the Iron-Blooded Orphans version. Darn it, I closed it again. Gotta stop doing that. We're just gonna hide you off to the side over here. So I'm going to be building out this piece and this, which is the elbow. Somewhere I have a screenshot of a robot I was going to use as a base for IRL Rusty. Old Man Rusty, the puppet. It was a fascinating pick and place robot. Let's see if I can find it again. Not the same, but this. Fantastic. Yeah, there's if you get a chance, look this one up on YouTube. It is very interesting on how everything is set up, and then the motion control for it. It has excellent range of motion. I was this close to using how they have the head set up. But I didn't think it'd be able to handle the weight the way I could do it without a nice lab. I didn't think I'd be able to handle the weight. Ooh, did we just get a bot? We just got a bot. Someone is offering services to get me more viewers. Thank you, first time chatter. You are banned. Nice, nice. They were offering me services to grab me more viewers. It's like, nah, I'm good building this up. I am good building this up organically. Now, where on earth is that other robot? I must have them in a different folder. That one had a really good shoulder, and now I can't find the shoulder in the elbow assembly. I'll have to look them up later. Shoulder, shoulder, shoulder. Okay, coupling. Cylinder, cylinder. Not that cylinder. This cylinder. It has 8 subdivisions. And let's just go with that for now. Should we make it look kind of beefy? Put a little tapering on it, maybe. Okay, so this should theoretically be this long, so we can get to the forearm next. I think we're going to do that. A little bit longer. But then I want to add just a little bit of detail at this time anyways. Oops, that's not the one. What is the extraction for making it beefier? Is it offset? Oh, there we go. Okay. I wonder if my mouse is starting to go. That doesn't look right either. Okay, and here is where I think I'll actually need to make a new shape. So let's extract a little bit, but then we will do this offset of 1 and taper it down a little bit. So I want to take these guys. Oh, no, we're not snapping. How to go at both. Well, I don't want to do this off kilter, so that's kind of unfortunate. I forget how to lock things into different axes. The things we need to relearn. And the things we have just learned, I think. Alright, close enough. There, that'll work. And now, because I want things spinning differently, because this will be the top of the joint, top of the shoulder, so the lower shoulder, or the lower upper arm, lower shoulder. Let's see, turn snapping back on. Let's make another cylinder. We had 8, 4. Let's make this one a little bit stubbier. 4, 4, 0. Line it back up. I'll probably bevel the edges and stuff so it looks like 2 couplers turning on each other. That. That is too much of an offset. That doesn't look quite how I intended, but I think I'll just roll with it for now. Let's see, how long do we need this to be? That length going to there. You know, it's looking a lot stubbier on that end. Maybe I'm going a little overboard here. Then again, I'm using Armored Core as a base for a mecha, so that's a little... I mean, they look like little skeletons with massive body armor applied, so... maybe I shouldn't be using it just as my soul. My soul base. Alright, that looks funny, but we'll go with it for now. So, now on to the elbow hinge, which is T-posing here. I think I want to be going forward. Could just mimic this guy, which I think I will do. Gotta look up that shortcut for making a new shape within the viewport, so you don't have to go down to origin every time. I'd say if I had more chatters, I'd say, hey, anybody in chat know how to do that? I had pros in chat, I should say. Okay, so if we are hinging forward, this way, depth should be probably there. Is a good place to start. I'll add the fancy little flanges later, I think. I'm not quite sure what shape I want it to be yet. I love this look. No, we're going to look up. We are going to look up. Let's see, excavator. Okay, let's see who's got a good picture of an excavator. Ooh. No, that's not super helpful. Great, I'm gonna get like nothing but excavator videos. Did that once on YouTube for the kid. Kid wanted to see construction equipment, and lo and behold, YouTube gave me nothing but construction equipment videos for the next like 2 weeks. I didn't I didn't clear my search history quick enough. Here we go. This. Oh, of course, I find the perfect picture, like showing nice angles, and it's super low res. Let's see, open image in a new save image. Close that window out. Can't have you seeing my secrets. Oh, the blurring color. That's not gray on gray on gray. Okay. So, we've got this hinge joint here. Actually, this, the bucket joint is, oop, that's not zooming. There we go. So this is what I'm going to be working on right here, or what I want to mimic. So on ours, based on the core, this part of the arm is a cylinder so it can rotate, which this hydraulic cylinder here is not, we're not worrying about that. But I want to take something like this, being a rocking pivot. Not a pivot with supports. Again, overcomplicating things. Nope, not faces. I think I stepped a step ahead, actually. I skipped a piece. So we need the piece that goes in between these two. Ah, there we go. I was trying to figure out where my visual disconnect was coming from between what I wanted to do and what I was trying, like what I wanted to do versus what I was accomplishing on the screen. Okay, so these are the outside flanges. Here, I need this piece, which, conveniently enough, we built something similar. It's a little big. And a little not rotated the right direction. Not perfect, but that is definitely closer to what I was thinking about. Okay, I'm going to have to wrap up stream soon. Especially since I think my Winamp just quit out again. Let's pick a random... Let's do this one. There we go. Okay. Look at all these properly named items. So we've got these pieces of the shoulder. That rotates this cylinder. Technically I have it part of the shoulder. It should not. It should be in the next group. But let's see how I have that looking. Yeah, that should definitely be not part of there. Okay. Make that a group. This guy, this guy. These two are going to be turning independently of each other, but they will still all be in the same... Oops. I know. I'll be in the same group. And these will be in the same group as this one. Oops. The cubes will not. Wow, this is going to get confusing real quick, isn't it? So if I move this group, I want this group to move. So let's put him under here. These guys are in another group, but they are going to be part of the forearm. So let's make one more just for funsies here. Let's make one more shape just to get a good feel for what's going on. Let's go with a polygon again this time. Polygon. Let's go with a cube, not a polygon. See if he's centered. Okay, he is centered. And now we can make him ridiculous. I'm going to put it going forward. Because I'm going to do similar to the core, where it goes past the bottom of the elbow. And honestly, this is just a placeholder. Put him a little bit closer. Let's go back to the hypershade. So we'll see what we're doing. You are going to use the lighter Lambert. And the arm, we'll use the darker Lambert. That way I'm kind of alternating make it easier to see what pieces are connected to what, just at a glance. All right, save, because good lord, I haven't saved in like an hour. Oh boy. Okay, so you guys are now a group as well. Because you're grouped onto the world, you unfortunately, there we go, don't have the pivots in the right spot. Pivot is right about there for now. Now we can start grouping things again. Yep. So I think I'm gonna work on these pivots and then I will call it a night. Because I want to see what they look like. Nice, nice. This is the, we'll call it the budget way of, the budget way of rigging. Okay. Do we have, we do not. Whoa, no, 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 no. That's the wrong key. Oh, this is exciting. This is exciting. Okay. And the shoulder group, I believe we already had rigged. Oh, all right. I'm actually happy. Progress. Okay. Okay. So what this basic lumpy looking thing looks like. Save that. So, what we can do now, of course I hid this part. So now we can do fun stuff like this. Oh, I do not have the front back. I'm gonna have to build in a front back into the shoulder joint up here. Essentially, it'll do that. Nice. Go about this. Undo that one just a little bit. Oh, actually I could have it match up to the armature pretty good here. If I had this rigged, could just grab the joints of the skeleton, and it'd be a little bit easier. Oops. You know, I guesstimated the length of the arm pretty darn good. Look at that. Should take a screenshot right here. Ta-da! Screenshot. Ka-chika. Yeah, I am happy with this. I'm gonna call it a night. Alright. Not too bad, just under 2 hours. I'm not gonna save this. No, not gonna save this. I'll save this. Okay, I will. Save as something different. Just in case. Just in case something unfortunate happens. Alright. Catch y'all next time.